here and where we might be going.
We are back at Susan's cabin, and we have just Cam.
Cam's back.
Yes.
In pog form.
We don't know yet the full extent of what's going on with Cam. We just know that he's back. And I'm pretty sure we were resting for the night or something. And the way that we ended last session was Apoc's dream.
He has a vision about being in a meadow.
And like someone's chasing him or something.
Yeah.
The creepy girl's voice that said, "I found you."
Yes. And then we ended it there.
Super big cook. And then we leveled up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, make sure you're all level 3. Don't forget, choose your stuff, up your points and all that fun stuff.
All right, yeah, leveled up.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
Okay, so ominous dream, leveled up, and Cam's back. So where are we? Are we still sleeping?
Yeah, so you just a bit farther back than that, so we all remember where we started in Meadowfen, where you were charged with sending a message to the Alderheart Council that Ashborough had burned to the ground. And after some trouble in Winnowing Reach, you were sent to rescue a researcher in the Mockden Caverns, and unfortunately found yourself one down as Cam was slain by a slime, and went on a bit of a side quest to bring him back, which you did successfully, to your knowledge, since he is alive. And you are currently sleeping on the floor of Susan's hut. There are the 5 of you, plus Susan, Cyrus, and Kina, the researcher you rescued in this hut. And Apoc is starting to have a bad dream in the middle of the night. But you are currently still sleeping, I guess, for right now, Cam, if there is anything you wanted to do. Otherwise, we can wake or open up at the next morning.
No, I'd want to get a nice long rest.
Yes, you do get a long rest, everybody.
Apoc wakes up from the bad dream screaming.
Maybe you don't get a long rest.
When did it happen? Was it near the end of our rest, or is it in the middle?
It was closer to the end of your rest. It was about 3/4 of the way through the night. So dawn is just starting to break as your dream occurs. At least from the outside world. Inside, you don't quite know what time it is in your own head. But you do all get a long rest from this. Whatever happens prior to that, Apoc, if you are going to do anything.
I already did it.
You wake up screaming?
Yeah, I'm just like laying there, still breathing heavily, sweat dripping down his boreskin.
Apoc, you don't look so good. You all right there, bud?
Am I paler than usual?
A little bit.
Yeah, having a bad dream.
Well, those things pass. The days ahead of us, and it could be worse. You could be dead.
Yeah, that's fair.
So bold.
Is there a difference between being dead and thinking you're dead?
I don't know. That's a big thought for first thing in the morning.
What if we're both dead?
Maybe we're both. Oh God!
Hearing this back and forth commotion, and because I'm pretty sure Sir Basil fell asleep, like kind of at the feet of Aurora. He kind of startles and wakes up and goes, "Oh, what's going on?
We're all dead."
Basil, did you die too?
What? Who's dead? What are you talking about?
Q.
Yes.
Are you alive?
Yes.
Okay. Are we dead?
No. You just need some tea. I get up and I go make some tea.
Did you need a hand?
I think you should just sit and rest. That will make you an extra strong cup.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
So Basil's sitting up, kind of just like gets into position and says, so what's all this commotion about? Why are you saying that we're dead?
Well, I had a bad dream.
Dream? Dream about what?
It's like somebody's following me. You remember that story I told, what's his name? When we were trading stuff for salt?
Of the what was of the bad spirits in the hand, right?
Yeah. I felt like that maybe. It's okay. I got you guys. We'll fight it off if something happens.
I'm sure it was just a nightmare and nothing to worry about.
Mrs. Q comes waddling back in with a tray of tea and some breakfast biscuits or something else that she found in the kitchen. And says, I don't know much about dreams, dear, but maybe you could ask Susan. She seems to know quite a lot about things.
So Basil takes his teacup.
Is it this big?
Is this
Probably for him, and says, sounds like a good idea. You should ask Susan.
what kind of tea is this?
This is a mix of fennel, caraway, and dandelion. It's good for morning digestion. Keeping things moving.
That sounds delicious. I love dandelions.
It's chicory.
Yeah.
All right, as you're all sipping away on your tea, nibbling on whatever Mrs. Q has been able to gather from Susan's kitchen, the sun's slowly starting to peek through the windows into this hut. Like I said, it was dawn, so in another couple hours, you do start to hear some shuffling from the room next door, the room that had the cauldron in it. And you do see Susan eventually kind of shuffle out and quietly close the door behind her, and shuffle into the room and kind of wave to you all. Morning. I heard some ruckus last night. Did you all sleep okay? Good. You look a little bit less peaky than yesterday, so that's a good thing. Okay. I see you all had some cups already and some tea, and I'll just make some more. I think Cyrus and Kina are waking up too, so we'll just make some more, and then we can start our day, and we'll see where it takes us. And you see her kind of like scratch the side of her head and just sort of flatten some of the spikes she has that are kind of all over the place. And you can kind of tell that there are some bags under her eyes that weren't there yesterday, as she sort of starts shuffling away and trying to prepare some breakfast for her and for the other two that are still sleeping a little bit. It doesn't take too long before Cyrus and Kina emerge and Susan starts just feeding everybody to make sure if there's anything you wanted to do in this time, you can. Otherwise, she'll make sure that everybody is well fed, and then she'll kind of shuffle over and gather all of you into, I guess, the room that counts as the living room, kitchen, dining room of her hut, this 2-roomed hut. And just sort of sits in the only chair with Normal the beetle hopping into her lap as she kind of scritches him with one hand and sips her tea with the other, and just kind of looks at everyone in attendance. So I don't know about the rest of you, but yesterday was quite taxing, and usually when there's some type of magic like that, I kind of get some repercussions. And I found that I had a bit of a bad dream. It was filled with fire and ash. And I don't quite know what it means. But
Ears kind of poke up as if like he's like very, very attentive. Maybe you can tell us more about your dream. What is it that you saw?
Well, that's a really good question, my dear, and it's not always as straightforward. My patron can sometimes be a bit cryptic, so if he's trying to tell me something, then I'm not too certain. But I've had dreams like this before, where they almost feel like omens. Before it was just embers and charcoal, blackness, the smell of smoke, but now I actually see the fire, almost like it's getting closer. And I don't know what it means. I tried once to get some answers, but it just didn't work the way I wanted it to. And well, I'm hoping to try again. If I have you around, and that might be okay. But the last time I had a dream like this was quite some time ago. I don't know if it's related to the magic we performed together last night, or if it was something independent, but it worries me, You only see flames when things are a problem.
Last time you had a dream like this, what was it? Oh, sorry, you actually raised your hand. You're such a good boy. You may go first.
I was just going to say, usually flames are a good thing when I'm making s'mores. That's all I had to say.
That was my first thought too, but these didn't seem like, the embers are usually the better ones for roasting the marshmallow. It comes a little more crisp that way.
Sorry, Mrs. Q, I feel like that was nowhere near important enough based on what you were going to say.
I always appreciate your input in these conversations, Cam. There's no need to apologize. Okay. We can make some s'mores later if you like. Susan, last time you had a dream like this, what was it that happened afterwards that made you think that it was an omen?
Oh, that's a really good question, my dear. It felt wrong, I guess.
Did it feel cold? Because fire is supposed to feel hot.
Fire is supposed to feel hot. I don't think it necessarily felt cold. More just, I don't know, dry, I guess. We live in a wood, I live in a swamp. I mean, I'm not used to weather that clogs your throat and suffocates you. It didn't feel great, but last night was the fire. It was flame, like it was consuming something.
And I didn't see any fire in my dream.
You did not see
Okay,
fire.
just to clarify.
Thinking that there might be some connection, Sir Basil kind of leans into the group and says, Apoc, maybe you should tell Susan about your dream.
No, this feels different. Susan, who's your patron?
I'm looking it up right now. Give me a second. I can't remember.
All right.
Hold on.
I take a big sip of this tea and I can really taste the notes of dandelion. I think I let it steep long enough finally.
She said it happens. She said it happens when her body takes a toll on doing these magics. Like, I don't know, we said a lot of stuff about Cam last night. Maybe it took a toll on me too.
Why would it only impact you and not the rest of us?
I don't know. I truly loved Cam. I don't know about you guys.
Ouch.
You just met him.
That's not true.
Yes.
I've known both of you
Okay.
all alive.
I just imagine Dace in the background, whatever. Just
Yeah. Dace didn't even say anything.
Dace Who's had a hard time? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, where is it? I worship Gesme.
Do we know who Gesme is?
Yes,
Okay.
Gesme is part of the pantheon. Which I gotta look.
Do we need to roll a history check or on a check? I don't know.
No, you would know, like just because it is part of not the pantheon, the Amaranthine of Humblewood. Gesme is normally a bird folk, a god worshipped by the bird folk, and is known mostly for their direction of knowledge and encouragement of knowledge and creativity in Humblewood. They are really the patrons of creators, innovators, and they are very much a fortune favors the bold kind of god.
Okay, cool.
Ooh.
It's weird this isn't the first fire dream you've had. It's also weird since we're hearing a lot about woods being burnt down. It's actually what we're supposed to be looking at, but you know, Cam died, we had to prioritize things.
Just a little bit of a sidetrack. It's fair to save your friend, of course. But, I mean, the wood has been burning for years. Is there something new? The Scorched Grove has been around since before you were born, I'm sure.
Yeah, but the Scorched Grove was always at the Scorched Grove. It never really sought out towns and burnt them down. That's what happened to Ashborough.
To Ashborough.
Yeah.
It's gone?
That's one of the reasons why we're going to, what's the city called?
Alderheart.
Elderheart, to report that Ashborough is no more.
So the grove is expanding.
Precisely.
Absolutely.
I can explain it. But why? Were you there? Do you know? Did you see anything?
No, but we did come across a flock of ember bats on our way to Alderheart a few days ago.
On the road? Those
Yeah.
are only seen in the heart of the grove. Things are changing. That's not good. That's not normal. As she pats Normal.
What does this
Well-
all mean, Susan?
Oh, I don't know. But we might be able to find out some things if it works. It didn't quite work as I expected last time, but I can try to perhaps summon somebody that can help. But it's a little unpredictable, and last time the thing I summoned broke a lot of furniture of mine. And she kind of gestures around, and it's now that you notice, there's only one chair here. The stand that Apoc had fixed last time is, more than just a single time has been destroyed.
Oh boy.
It looks really nice now that you fixed it though. And you can definitely notice now that you're looking around that the door to the bedroom part where Susan was sleeping last night is definitely new and not as old as the hut.
Oh.
Okay, so it sounds like we need some
Okay.
answers.
I'm down.
Okay,
Open to anything.
good. That's good. Okay. Well, and let's see here. And she'll kind of go off and start to try and look through all of her kitchen cabinets, and she'll be pulling out, things floating in jars. And
Oh, can we help?
well, I'm going to see that right now. I think I have most of the ingredients, but I may need Cyrus to go and grab something for me. Maybe just some bulrushes from the stream not too far away. Cyrus, dear. And she'll call over Cyrus and kind of just talk to him and tell him exactly what it is that she's looking for. And kind of without responding, or maybe he responds, kind of without responding, you sort of see Cyrus just nod and Susan give a little bit of a smile. And you see Cyrus turn and walk out of the hut. So he should be back by nightfall, which is good. And it's probably best to maybe, if you're willing to stay another day, just wait a little bit. I mean, you're all still covered in mud. And as much as I want my home to be yours, I would definitely appreciate there not being mud on my rug for a second night. And it looks like you, my dear, could use another night of rest at the very least.
That would be
gesturing to you, Cam.
That'd be fantastic. If I do say so myself.
All right, so if that's the case, then I could use your help maybe clearing a space and tidying up here. And when Cyrus comes back, we can make sure we have the cauldron and all of the ingredients ready to go. But I'll need to recoup some of my strength as well to do this. So as long as you're okay to stay one more night, I can promise more tea and all of that fun stuff. And maybe we can get more answers tomorrow.
Perhaps we should start with a good wash so we don't clean your place only to make it dirty again by moving through it. Do you have a wash basin that we could fill?
Yeah, she'll direct you to like a bath or a wash basin, and you can kind of take your time to clean up. But essentially, this first day is kind of free time, where Susan will get your help to tidy up her hut and gather some herbs for dinner, and whatever you want to do or ask or talk about, we can do that, or time jump ahead to tomorrow morning. That is totally up to you. But it is a time to recoup.
And so I assume Sir Basil helps cleaning where he can, but then at some point during the day, he'll want to go and get Thunder and Lightning.
They're quite far away.
But we left them at the
Entrance to the cave.
Yeah.
Which is way back.
Which was how many days ago?
5.
And how far away of a travel is it?
It is
I think it's a bit.
from Susan's hut back to the cave is about a half day, like about a half day. You traveled the majority of it in the dark, carrying Cam's body with you, so it's a little hard to tell.
Okay.
But it was definitely not like a 10-minute jaunt over to the caves and back.
Gotcha. Okay.
You do know that if you wanted to get back to Winnowing Reach at some point, you do have to travel back past the cave. That would be traveling north. You did have to come south to Susan's hut.
Okay.
For some geography.
Yeah, I'd like to scrounge up. I help clean up a little bit during the day, and then scrounge up a bit of like paper or like matte canvas or something, and just kind of retreat to a corner as I kind of think and stew on what's happened, and just start painting.
Ooh, love it. Okay. Painting anything in particular, or more just?
Yeah. So I think Camembert is going to try and kind of retrace his steps a little bit, and I think he's going to fall on the thing that was brought up, the ember bats, and start painting, basically visualizing the ember bats and just trying to paint one of them out on like a canvas with a bit of a backdrop. But since he used up all his red paint in the cave for that line to figure our way out, I think he's going to do everything in green paint.
Nice.
Ooh, interesting.
Love it. Yeah, with the time you spend on that during the day, you can get a pretty detailed painting from the best recollection of the time you saw those ember bats on the road. And you can paint it in every shade of green that you have, and add it to your inventory, store it, leave it for season.
If we come back to that one before we end the day.
All right.
Mrs. Q just like goes to the, I don't know, the place where Susan keeps all of the cleaning implements, and picks up like the featheriest feather duster she can find and just like feather dusts everything and hums most of the day. And once like all of the tables and stuff have been put back, she gets like a little saucer and puts some water in it and puts a little rosebud in it and like casts the spell to make the rosebud bloom just sit in the middle of the table.
Oh.
And she also asks Susan if she can replenish her herb pouch from her garden.
Oh, yes, of course. If whatever it is that you're looking for, I actually think your friend is out there helping pick some of my turnips. So if you need anything, just go for it.
Thanks.
And you look out the window and you absolutely see Dace like tricep, you know, the thing where you pull your triceps back, but he's pulling vegetables out like that. And like hammer tossing them into a wheelbarrow. That's what Dace is doing today.
Nice.
Wow.
Cool. Nice.
He worked biceps last time, it's triceps this time.
It's good leg day.
We'll let Dennis decide
Yeah.
what that day is.
Since Sir Basil can't go and get the ponies, after he finishes cleaning up, he'll probably just go outside in like, I guess, the front of the house. So probably you see like Dace off and Mrs. Q on the side just picking the garden. Sir Basil just coming in the front of the house, practicing some of his sword play and kind of doing is it called a kata? A kata?
Aikido?
No, like where you just like practice sword forms and stuff. Anyways, he's just doing that. And then at some point, you see him just kind of like sit and he's just like kind of like doodling in the dirt with his sword. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. As you're kind of sitting there, like doodling with the tip of your sword, carving away some of the mud in front of Susan's hut, you actually feel your sword kind of tap on something metallic.
Okay. Feeling that, can I keep poking at it and can I investigate? Maybe I kind of try to brush dirt away to see what it is.
Yeah, you move the dirt away a little bit more and you notice like just underneath the dirt, kind of like it's just been trampled down and packed in a little bit and then covered with the rain and the mud and stuff. So it may not have been there long, is a gold coin. Just a little bigger than a normal gold piece. But as you're kind of looking at it, Sir Basil, you notice on one face of the gold coin, you see an hourglass that is full of sand. Like both sides of this hourglass are just completely full to the top. So I guess an hourglass is not totally the right word. It's kind of an hourglass shape. There's no top, no bottom to it. It's just sort of the shape, but it looks to be full of sand.
Okay.
Or full of dots is the best way I can describe it.
Okay.
And you turn it over to the other face and you notice that same shape, devoid of any sand. It looks just like two kind of curved bells almost. And this is not normal for gold pieces that are in this world. You know that since you have a pouch full of gold pieces at your side.
Holding it, would I have any idea of the significance of it? Like, is it like something like a history check or I don't know?
Arcana check.
Arcana check. Ooh, okay.
Yeesh.
A 6.
Doesn't look like a regular gold piece, that's for sure. Not one that you've seen. Definitely not something that you recognize. It's unique. You don't know how, you don't know why, but it's definitely unique.
Okay. Not realizing anything special about it, but just knowing that it's unique. Sir Basil kind of like tosses it up in the air, catches it, maybe tucks it in his cloak, takes out his little bubble pipe, and starts blowing bubbles while keeps doodling in the dirt.
Okay. Do you look at the face it lands on or just tuck it away?
Right. I kind of just toss it, catch it, and then put
Tuck it away. Okay. All right. You have a mysterious gold coin.
Yeah.
Apoc, did you want to do anything?
He's getting cleaned up, not like overly clean. Like, you know how when you shower, you like use shampoo and soap and stuff. Apoc's just gonna like turn the water on and kind of just scrub. It doesn't really like, it gets all the superficial mud off, but like if you look close, like you still see like bits of dirt and like the fleas in his fur. He's not like overly clean guy, but he's cleaned up enough that it's not like tracking mud everywhere. And then after that, he's just gonna kind of like look around the place, see what he can fix up, and then I don't know, go from there. Just take it easy today, kind of thing.
All right. As you're kind of looking around to see what you can sort of fix up, you notice that there is like a bookshelf china cabinet in the corner of Susan's hut that almost looks like one of the legs has been gnawed at, whether it's from normal or from something else that may have destroyed her furniture before. It definitely looks a little bit wobbly, like a couple pieces of paper shoved under to keep it upright. And there are a couple like trinkets, but it almost looks like Susan is aware not to put too much weight on the upper shelves, just in case.
All right.
So if you wanted to go and kind of...
Yeah, that's the kind of thing he's looking for, like little things that can just like help out and, you know, make her life easier. Yeah. So he'll, I don't know, maybe strap just like a little piece of wood and grab some like thick leaves from outside if there are any, and just like wrap it around, just make it a lot sturdier. Take some like, I don't know, sap from a tree and like make this artificial glue out of it. Or I guess not artificial, natural glue.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
As you're kind of working and looking at like some of the trinkets, Mrs. Q had just dusted here as well. So they're looking quite nice.
So they're dusty and they're just getting a little bit like dirty again as Apoc goes through it.
As Apoc goes through it, yeah. Mrs. Q, you might have to go back over this area. But you notice there's like a little clock. It doesn't look like it's, you know, super on time. The second hand looks a little slow. I guess maybe a sundial. No, it's a clock. You notice there's like a little kind of almost model crossbow. There's a little statue of Gesme, who you know to be her patron. And next to it, you see like a little tiny statuette of a carved little duck.
Okay.
And as you're bending down to kind of fix the leg of this, this bookshelf china cabinet, you go to start standing up, and all of a sudden you just kind of hear, duck.
What's this duck? Is this coming from the duck?
That's all you hear.
I look up and I look at the duck. Is there any like inscription or anything on it?
You continue standing up to look at the duck, and you feel something just bang into the middle of your back.
Oh.
And you look around and you see Normal is there, who was in mid-pounce at you, just looking for some scritches.
Oh God. All right. Hey, Normal. And I just like scratch his belly.
And as you're looking at the duck, you don't notice any inscription. All you heard was duck.
All right.
While I'm outside having finished my picking of herbs, I go over to Basil and I see that he's drawing in the dirt, and I ask him what he's drawing.
Thank you. That was not a setup. So, what's been described? Okay, so imagine, all right, it's a picture of, you have a little mouse, probably like a stick figure for Sir Basil. And then this stick figure is within like a bigger shape, like a big, almost kind of hulking mouse shape. And then on other side of this Hulk big mouse shape, there's all these different kind of like symbols, like runes essentially, or runes, sorry. And he kind of like looks up at Mrs. Q and says, I've been doing a lot of thinking about some myths I used to hear as a kid growing up in Alderheart. You ever heard of Gaspard the Great? Maybe you say yes or no or whatever.
I would definitely say yes.
And then I explained Gaspard was the mighty what animal am I? I'm the mighty German warrior. Someone that all little folk looked up to. It was said that he was so mighty that he learned the strengths of the giants, that he could transform and become even stronger and mightier than he was, even though he was so small. It was said that, and then he points at one symbol, which you probably might not recognize. And while he's pointing to it, he says, it was said that he wielded a sword of fire. And then pointed at another symbol, said that and his armor was so strong, it was almost as strong as a mountain. And then it kind of points at these other symbols and continues kind of a story of just like all these things of Gaspard the Great. And then you can tell he's just like super excited like about like this German hero, this essentially like religious symbol for him. And he was saying, I've been thinking about it a lot. And I hope one day I'm as strong as him.
When was Gaspard this is a side thing. This is not Mrs. Q asking. This is me asking so that I can know what Mrs. Q will say in turn. When did Gaspard the Great, like when was he around? Is it like a really, really long time ago or like a kind of long time ago?
All I know is that Gaspard is like a religious symbol.
Okay, so
for German.
Okay, so potentially a very long time ago.
Or I don't even know if he's
or like not
really
even
real.
Of course he's really real.
Folk tales.
Yeah, so you know that Gaspard is part of the Amarantha? Oh boy, I lost the word. It's part of the pantheon of gods in Humblewood.
Okay.
And Gaspard is usually the patron of Gerbines. And as with all gods, there is a tale of how they became the god. But as with all gods, the dates of said tales are a little bit fuzzy.
Mm-hmm. But you would have a sense of like the name.
Indeed, I once came across a priest of the Church of Gaspard. And traded him a cookie for a packet of perennial chicory seeds.
Sir Basil peeks up. Oh, did you really? Tell me all about it.
He was bold. But he really liked the cookies, so.
You see, like Sir Basil, even though it was not necessarily anything profound you just said, he just like is like really eating up. He's like, wow. And then like he kind of just like throws out his drawing and then like stands up and kind of like walks with you into the house, asking more questions about the bald dude who liked your cookies.
As we walk in and I walk past Apoc, who I guess is giving Normal a little scratch on the tummy, I lean over and I pull his ear back. I say, did you clean behind your ears? And I see that he didn't. And so I take my apron.
Who is this? Oh.
I'm just using you as a prop.
Okay.
As you smell Apoc, he just rips a big fart.
I get out some of my herbs and start shaking them.
Cleanse the area.
I'll just say because Sir Basil is shorter, he probably was like.
I don't know. You're like right in range.
Exactly. And so you see Sir Basil like.
Hey,
It's okay, Sean. You're still cute.
we haven't been eating good food lately. Been travel food. You know, when you're on a road trip, you get a lot of takeout.
Well, we can fix that tonight because your friend has pulled out pretty much all of my turnips and carrots. So I guess it's going to be root vegetables for tonight.
I walk in eating a s'more.
Yeah.
And perhaps some s'mores. I'm not sure where you got that.
It is the mystery.
Yeah.
I'll just have every NPC comment on it because I'm also curious. All right. Unless there's anything else anyone wanted to do.
As I finish the painting, mostly like green, dark green, shades of black, indicative or evocative of, I guess, my recent experiences. This ember bat seems to take somewhat shape. It's a little, I wouldn't say it's like accurate depiction of like a real life ember bat, more of like an artistic interpretation. Very postmodern. And as I finish the brush strokes, you just kind of see him close his eyes for a bit and focus, and just you don't know what he's thinking, but you can tell he's definitely focused. And as he does, you start to see the paint on his canvas, or whatever the material you use as a canvas, start to move on its own. And you start to see the canvas itself burn up in his hands, but not like a fiery color. It's more like like Skittles. Think like Skittles exploding, like that kind of color where it's all different colors, just kind of like a rainbow kaleidoscope mixture of colors wrap out, and the paint that was left on that canvas rises up, starts flapping. And you see this little paint ember bat float around and start skittering around the room.
Is it 3-dimensional or 2-dimensional?
You can't quite figure it out as you look on it. Sometimes you're like, oh, it's the fully formed thing, and then other times it looks like it's in 2D. It almost like warps between the different dimensions.
Nice.
That's
Very cool. Very cool.
Super, super cool.
I'll say you see Sir Basil and then a bubble version of Sir Basil with their mouths hanging open as they're staring at this bat flying around.
The bat will just land on your shoulder and then just give you a little rub up with its paint. It leaves like a little green mark on your side and then flies back and lands on my shoulder.
It's a gooey bat.
I have a pet paint bat.
Nice. That's amazing.
Nice. So cool.
I love that. Man, I want that to be an in real life thing. So bad. Oh.
It's not like you get paint everywhere anyways.
Just, I have painting clothes.
Yeah.
All right. As these mini adventures go on throughout the day, and the sun starts to get low in the sky, the shadows start to get long. You do actually notice that Cyrus does return with a wad full of bulrushes that have been kind of trimmed from the stems. The kind of little pointy part at the top has been trimmed off, and they're just I don't know the parts of a bulrush. I shouldn't be doing this. It's just the very fluffy
stalk.
Yeah, the very fluffy stalk, the flower part almost of the bulrush. And he kind of brings over to Susan and gives a little pat on her shoulder. And Susan just sort of tells him like, okay, so these need to be sort of crushed. It might take some time, but I'm just going to finish. Yeah, that part. I'm just going to finish some dinner. We'll eat, and then we'll have everything ready to go first thing in the morning. And that's exactly what goes on during the evening. Is Susan will kind of pass out some glazed carrots and turnips, which is basically the entire meal, unfortunately, but it's not road food, so that's the good thing. It is pretty delicious. She somehow has cream and butter from somewhere. She's not really close to any town, but it's a very delicious meal, one that you would like the recipe to, Mrs. Q, because of its flavor that she's able to produce in the middle of a swamp.
What kind of animal is she again?
She's a hedge.
A hedge? Okay.
Susan.
Can you milk a hedge?
You want to try?
No.
I feel like this is the new adventure.
I don't know. Some animal gets milk from somewhere. I don't know where.
You hear the little bell from around the goat's neck in the back.
There you go.
Let's just put a stop to this. But after dinner and after Susan kind of cleans and tidies up, she'll wander over to the living room with all of you again. Kina and Cyrus kind of already asleep in the next room as it is quite late in the evening. And she'll just kind of, so cauldron is ready. I have all of the ingredients now, thanks to Cyrus. We'll do this first thing in the morning then, right at dawn. Again, last time I tried this, it got a little complicated. So I just want you all to be aware and ready just in case, because I don't want Kina or Cyrus to get hurt. And you are all very well equipped to handle something like this. Lord knows I wasn't last time, and I don't really know where the creature went, to be perfectly honest with you, but it's a big swamp, so maybe it was nothing bad. But I think the answers that we're going to get are going to be good. Hopefully. Hopefully.
All right.
But it would definitely help if you know, if we have our facts straight. Do you know when Ashborough was destroyed?
Oof.
Well, based on how long we've been on this journey, because it's only been like what, a week or something.
You've been gone from Winnowing Reach for 5 days. So you've been gone from Meadowfen from session 1 for about 7-8 days now.
And the person who came running in to tell us, how long was that journey?
So that was 8 days ago, roughly 8 days ago, when you first heard that Ashborough had burned.
So we have a rough idea.
Rough idea, yeah.
But I assume we answered like, ooh, it was about just over a week ago that.
Yeah. Sorry, I had something in my throat when I was trying to continue the story. Okay, so 8 days ago. Wow. Were there any survivors? If you know?
Yeah. One girl.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Maybe we can ask. We'll try to get as much as we can from this creature, but if there is anything that you think of in the moment, you should definitely ask. I don't know how much time we're going to have, but I'm hoping I can just dispel him or her. I don't know who's coming.
Wait. Where are they coming from?
Well, that's a really good question. And I'm not sure, but it will be okay.
Okay.
People be convinced.
I'm sold.
Insight check?
Sure, make an insight check.
Apoc sold.
That's a 1. That's
Guess
a dirty
you're
one. Dirty
You're on
one.
the same level as Apoc. She's sounds good.
Cool.
Can you at least tell us the form that we will be seeing? Is it a ghost? Is it a physical creature? Is it?
Oh, it's a physical creature. It's definitely a physical creature. Last time I came, it was, I don't know, red and furry. Had some sharp teeth. Thank you for fixing that bookcase, by the way. I noticed that.
I got you.
Yeah.
Thank you for fixing my dead friend.
Oh, you're welcome.
We get a sense that like we can trust her. Like, is this like a bad idea?
I mean, you can make an insight check and see what kind of information or kind of vibes you're getting.
You have advantage on
Yes.
insight.
So I get advantage on insight check.
Woot woot.
14.
Maybe the 14. I mean, you can tell that Susan is maybe a little bit nervous, but not so much that she isn't convinced the ends justify the means. From your discussion this morning, Susan seemed quite spooked from her dream.
Okay.
That much was clear over tea. And you definitely get the sense that although there's a little bit of trepidation, having you around and having the group around is kind of putting a lot of that at ease for her.
Cool.
I just want to make you all aware, that's all. And all we have to do tomorrow, now that the cauldron is there, is just add all these ingredients. And there's like 5 different jars and then a mortar and pestle full of kind of the crushed bulrushes.
Lovely.
I suggest you get some sleep tonight if you can. But if I'm not up first thing in the morning, just make sure you wake me, okay?
What time is it?
So it's after dinner, probably closer to like 9 o'clock-ish.
Why don't we do it right now and then we could rest afterwards?
Well, I thought about that, but I'll kind of leave that up to your friend. And she'll look over at you, Cam. I mean, I don't really know what's coming, so it's best that you're all as fresh as can be. If your friend is feeling all right, my dear, and could handle maybe a couple little adverse events, then we're good to go.
I think one night's rest should be plenty.
Wait, as in
To go, or
you want to do that now, or you want to wait for tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll wait till tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm trying to give her a chance to get back the stats.
Hey, I mean, I'd rather be healthy for a day.
You can always rest here for as long as you need.
Well, but the world's burning.
World's burning. We gotta go.
Maybe there's some answers for that.
I'll make do with my weakened state.
Hang on.
Does that mean you want to do it now or tomorrow?
Let's go tomorrow. Let's go tomorrow.
I think let's just end the conversation here and say that.
Poor Susan is going around in circles.
As I guess people kind of just like start winding down for the night, so Basil goes up to Susan, and because he remembers that coin he found, he digs it out of his cloak and goes, "Susan, what can you tell me about this coin?" And kind of hand coin out to Susan. And I assume like he's doing it like publicly, so like if you guys are around in the area, like you will totally see Sir Basil passing Susan this coin and here.
Let me just check something.
While you're holding out the coin, you're focused on the coin and the other folks in the room. You kind of lose sight of Camembert as he tries to steal the coin out of your hand without you noticing.
As we're all looking at the coin.
Make a sleight of hand check with disadvantage.
So I'm going to cast invisibility before I do so.
Oh, okay. Okay. The straight roll.
As that doesn't help, that is a natural 1 for the straight roll.
Buddy.
But it's 4 total.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Basil's passive perception is probably higher than 4.
Okay.
If it was less than a 4, he would be a vegetable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make an attempt, Basil. You feel something clamp onto the wrist that's holding the coin. You can't see what it is, but you feel something.
I just imagine it's just like, so imagine you're Sir Basil, so holding the coin, and he just feels.
Yeah, pretty much. You can't see, but you definitely feel something on your wrist.
I'm trying to pull it out of his hand, but it's just your grip's too strong.
What?
And then I drop the invisibility. All right, keep your coin, and I walk off.
Jesus.
Miss Quillam gives Cam she had with her little staff. She gives him a little rap on the shoulder or whatever is closest, and he looks back at her, and she gives him the death stare, but her eyes are red.
Ooh.
Miss Q, you can't hit him. He just died. You might kill him again.
Don't push your luck, Cam. We are friends. Act like friends.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Susan is going to just like delicately reach for the coin.
Yeah.
She'll kind of like flip it over in her hands and sort of look at it. And you kind of see her getting more and more excited as she looks it over. And she's like, wow, I have no idea where you found this, but this is supposed to be, I had this when I had some adventuring days, and that was ages ago. Can probably serve one of you better, but this is known as an all or nothing coin. So what you can do is use it to, well, it's a little unpredictable because it's still 50-50, but you can use it to try and succeed on something that you're attempting to do. But it's all or nothing, so you either succeed or you fail spectacularly. And essentially what this means is you can choose to either like flip this 50-50 coin and take, heads as a success and tails as a failure. Or that full hourglass is an automatic like critical hit kind of deal.
Mhm.
And the opposite side of the coin with the empty hourglass is a critical failure.
Oh, wow.
And you can use that once a day.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Okay.
Love it.
Interesting.
That's really cool.
Wild.
I'll have to add it to your inventory. It's a thank you, Pinterest.
Whoa. Okay, cool.
But she'll hand it back to you and just kind of be like, I had some great adventures that started with a poor flip of this coin. It's wonderful.
Basil just kind of like stares at it like,
Go rob the bank.
Well, I ain't Cam.
I'm just thinking like, how do I get that coin?
Gotta get that damn coin.
Well, it doesn't need attunement, so you could pass it around. All right, and with that, Susan will hand it back to you and kind of give you a little pat on your helmet, and she'll just waddle off into her bedroom and head off for bed.
Guys, I've got an idea. Every day we'll flip the coin to see who gets it.
It's a lovely idea. But I encourage you to have a little more of a think about it before you push us to it.
No, it's like you flip the coin. If it lands on the hourglass, you get to keep it. But if it doesn't, it goes to the next person. And every day we'll flip it. And if you succeed, you get to keep it.
But then you've used the flip, dear.
Yeah, but you get to keep it.
what happens if like you don't call it? So for example, like if there's a situation of,
You don't need to call it. It's a full hourglass and an empty hourglass.
but then like is it just like you'll just make up something if it happens to fall on?
No, so I would still get you to like roll or flip a coin there. You don't call it. More like if you fail on a roll and you want to try to succeed, you can say, I'm going to flip my coin instead. And then you have to take whatever the coin is. So you have a 50-50 shot of either getting a critical hit, a critical success, or you have like a 50-50 chance of it being a critical failure.
But what if, and you could call your shot if you tried to fail, and like you said, oh, I want to fall off this bridge, and then you flipped it, and then it hit the hourglass, so you fall off the bridge. But like, if you flip it and you want to fall off the bridge and you fail, it means you got to cross successfully. You couldn't call it.
Yeah, you could like, okay, interesting.
Yeah, so essentially what the description is once per day, you can flip a coin. Heads equals a critical hit. Tails equals a critical fail. So full hourglass is a critical hit. Empty hourglass is a critical fail.
Okay.
Who here has a coin?
So
It's this all or nothing coin.
Yeah.
So really, it's used for battle.
You can use it whenever you want. I think it's intended, the original thing I found is intended to be used for in battle, but I will let you use it.
Okay.
It's probably most effective in battle,
Uh-huh.
but I will let you
More
use it
interesting.
whenever you make a roll. Once per day though.
Cool.
I just added it to D&D Beyond, so if you refresh your page and then try to add it to your equipment, it should be there,
Thank you.
I think. If not, I'll
Oh,
fix it.
random note about the D&D stuff, Eric. Did you end up changing any settings?
No.
Just with like content sharing, because Andrea noticed she lost a lot of stuff.
Oh, maybe. I might have to go back. New Year's, there's like a thing. I think it reset all my stuff, so.
Oh, damn.
I hope you still have it all.
Well, I have it all. I think all my
Yeah.
content sharing turned off over the holidays.
Oh, okay.
So
That would make sense.
I'll go back in and fix
Yeah, that's okay. No big
Yeah.
deal, no big deal.
I was able to add it. Thanks, Eric.
Cool.
Good. Thank you, Eric. All right. Unless there is anything that anyone wants to do before bed, we can just skip right over to the next morning. Okay, seeing some nods, that's good. That was quite the eventful downtime. That was exciting.
While we're going to bed, and I wait till Apoc falls asleep, and I crawl over to him.
Okay, you crawl through a bunch of fleas.
And that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm trying to like find some of the biggest fleas that I can, and
Okay.
like grab them and harvest them to feed to my new pet bat.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
Your sleep.
I mean,
So
I don't.
But also kind of gross.
now because
There's enough fleas that fleas die off naturally anyways. You wouldn't even notice if some of them were gone.
Yeah. So what I do is like I take it and feed it like it's a bat. He's like, here's like some little food, and like playing around with them. But like it's a paint, so the fleas just kind of fall through and then just go back and skitter back over to Ava.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm just kind of like, as he like flies around the room and then like plays with the food. I need to come up with a name for you, and then I go to bed to think on it.
Oh,
Oh, love it. It's so cute.
that's super cute.
All right.
Yeah.
So as you all head to bed, I don't think you used anything, but it is another long rest, particularly for one of you. And I'm not gonna lie, I desperately need some tea.
Yeah.
So I'd like to stop there to take a bit of a breather.
Yeah.
I'll get
Oh, it's
some
a good
tea and
time.
come back.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Do you want an bar?
this highly anticipated next day.
Dun, 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 dun.
So because you were all in bed nice and early, you do wake up just before dawn. And you do kind of hear, as you're waking up, Susan also shuffling around in her separate bedroom. And you do hear when she like slowly creaks out and gently shuts the door, since Cyrus and Kina are also still fast asleep in that bedroom. She sort of waddles over to you and just, good morning. How are we? Good. How are you feeling? Did you sleep well? Oh, he's really cute. When did he come here? And she'll gesture to your bat.
He's been here the whole time.
Oh, well, my eyes aren't what they used to be, so I'm sorry I missed him before. He's very sweet, though. All right, so if we're all good to go, I'll just start the ritual, add everything that needs to be added to the cauldron, and let's see if we can get some answers. Okay.
Sounds good.
Apoc just like wakes up, starts looking at his fleas, and is like, Jerry? Jerry? Where's Jerry? Jerry? Oh, there you are. Sorry. He's in the wrong spot.
I don't know, close the diamond guard. I'm trying to laugh.
Who's Jerry?
Jerry's one of my fleas.
He's-
I thought he was gone. He wasn't where I left him.
Huh. He wouldn't have me be covered in green paint, does he?
You know, he looks a little odd.
As Miss Quillam like gives a little stretch, she looks out the window, and Dace is outside deadlifting stones.
Yes,
He just hasn't stopped through the night.
Jacked.
that's what he did last time.
Like 2 days worth of exhaustion.
He's going hard for those games, man.
He's doing the thing like, like in CrossFit where you have to flip the tire. That's what he's doing with the stone.
Yes.
There's your leg day. I think that's working your legs. I'm actually not sure. But anyways. All right, as you're all kind of keeping track of each other, and Susan hustles over, still in like a little like kimono house coat. That's what I'm trying to say. Still in a house coat. You see her kind of pull out this much smaller cauldron compared to the one that she used to help resurrect Cam the other day. And she starts lighting a fire underneath with a little spark from a snap of her fingers, and just starts adding these different ingredients into the cauldron itself, and starts to stir almost just by moving her hand as the spoon itself stirs clockwise and one stir counterclockwise. Clockwise for a bit, one stir counterclockwise. And it takes about a half hour, 45 minutes. The sun is now starting to crest over the hills that surround Susan's hut in this little valley, before she finally looks over at all of you. Just kind of nods, gives a little thumbs up, and you see her close her eyes and hold out both hands and just start whispering under her breath. And you catch the words, "We need help, send someone," and then a string of syllables and sounds that you don't understand. None of you would understand this unless anybody speaks Abyssal.
One of my language is just rare language, but I haven't picked it because I didn't know what rare languages were rare.
Okay,
No,
you don't speak Abyssal.
I don't speak Abyssal.
So none of you recognize the words that she's saying or the syllables that she's pronouncing. And as you're sort of standing there in anticipation, if there's anything you want to do, just stop me. As you're standing there in anticipation of what's going to happen and what's going on, you start to see the cauldron bubble and boil to the point where the splashes are almost starting to grow almost to the top of the ceiling as Susan is praying, chanting, kind of hard to tell. And as she clasps her hands together suddenly, eyes still closed, you see two bursts of this like orangey, pinkish, coral colored liquid come from the cauldron, land on either side, and slowly start to take the shape of a small creature, just a little bit taller than Basil, with these long whiskers kind of flailing out to either side, wrapping around and down. The fur itself is pinkish in hue and spiky. It doesn't look like something you'd want to go up and pet. These eyes, very, very large, as big as like dinner plates, with these very, very yellow, deep yellow pupils. This kind of upturned nose, and these pointed teeth and pointed claws. Both of them just sort of crouched down in a very low, menacing glare right in front of Susan and right on either side of the cauldron. Just sort of regard each of you. Their movements, yeah, two of them, but their movements kind of acting in tandem as they look left and right, up and down.
Do they look like elemental?
Or
are they like
picture?
Okay, great. I'm assuming they look like something not from this world.
They definitely look like something not from this world.
Also, just so I can get an idea for space, like how close are we to these creatures, the cauldron, Susan? Like, are we all like pretty jam-packed tight together? So like these things will pretty much right in front of us.
So it's not a big hut. You are, 1 second. So this is what you see. You see two of these guys, one on either side of the cauldron.
Oh.
And you are about...
That's where she gets the milk from.
Oh.
You're like 20, 30-ish feet away at the farthest point in the hut. The cauldron is kind of tucked away into a corner of Susan's living room. The kitchen, which is on the other side of the hut, is 30 feet away from it. But if you're all within that room, you're closer to 15, 10 feet away, depending on if you were right beside Susan or if you were just a little bit farther.
Okay.
At this point, Susan just blinks and takes a bit of a step back as she sort of regains the focus in the room and looks down at these two little creatures in front of her. They're cute. Hello. She'll just sort of wave to the little creatures who really bare their teeth in this very grimacing smile almost.
Anybody got food? Should we feed them?
I'll grab a flea off of Apoc.
No, like real food. Put that back. Miss Q, do you have any like muffins or cupcakes or anything?
Miss Q reaches into her apron and pulls out 2 white chocolate macadamia nut cookies. And she hands them to Apoc and says, "Have at it."
Okay. All right, he just like holds them up in the air because Apoc doesn't want to get too close either. Guys, keep bringing these over, and you see like the fleas just one after another grab the cookie and place them in front of each of the 2 creatures that just got brought out.
So cute. Love it. Susan kind of look over and like, yeah, it's a great idea. And you see these 2 creatures, this grimace on their face, smile, grimace on their face, reach out for the cookie, and at the last second, reach to try and grab one of your fleas. I don't know how quick they are, but they'll try to reach for it and they'll try to just shove one in their mouth, whether or not they get it.
Okay.
And as almost an afterthought, kind of sniff at the cookie and then grind it into the ground.
Well, that was rude.
And
Well,
then
I
start
think it's time to
counting.
roll initiative. I've had. You don't mess with Mrs. Q's cookies.
Are you attacking?
No, but I do draw a dagger.
Okay.
Or Basil kind of has his hand on his sword, just kind of like watching these two.
Mrs. Q just has a hand on her chest and gasping. I made those fresh.
Sir Basil kind of,
Okay, it's okay.
what are they?
Well, I summoned them to help. We just need to ask our questions now. Okay, little one. We have some questions for you.
Why don't you like cookies?
And as you speak, Apoc, both of their, like, these 4 eyes from these 2 creatures pin themselves onto you. And sensing kind of the tone of your voice that is very different from Susan's at this point.
Oh boy.
They are going to, and I've been waiting to use this word, they are going to skitter over to you on all 4s.
Ugh.
Hell no.
And as they do, one of them is going to go ahead and try and strike out at you with the claws on his hand.
Okay.
He didn't want to talk.
What?
They didn't want to talk.
Oh, okay.
Now we'll roll initiative if you want.
All right.
Yes.
Dice.
It has to do with the weight, I feel.
It's a good die.
That was Georgina's first roll with her new dice.
No, let's see them.
Oh, yeah, they're so pretty.
Yeah.
They're made of quartz or something.
That's awesome. Are they heavy?
Yeah. They have heft.
Watch out what you roll them on. You might dent the table.
Oh, yeah, that happened to me. Slash, it was Sean that did it to me.
No.
Yes. Okay, 25 to 20, anyone?
Me. I have a 20.
Nice.
Aw.
20 to 15?
17.
17.
16.
Okay,
Nice.
17, 17, 16. Dex scores from the 2 of you, who's higher?
I have a 17 to Dex or a +3.
Basil?
I have a 15 plus 2.
So it's Cam, Basil, and then Apoc.
Hmm.
They did not roll well. Susan. All right, and if you want to go ahead and open up the map.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh. Awesome.
And I'll get you to place yourselves where you want to be. Where Susan is kind of where the cauldron
What's
was.
the password?
Oh, Susan,
Oh,
all lowercase.
do you need a password?
I just put one on because it makes me feel important.
Okay. Eric never has a password.
I know.
This is really cute.
So this is Susan's hut. Where the bed is, just pretend that that is a solid wall. I think I can draw in here. I don't know. I haven't mastered it yet.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We all know there's a wall there.
Right
Right here.
there. But where Susan is generally where the cauldron was. I just kind of put you all over. So go ahead and place yourselves where you want, and I will place the
Okay.
critters.
Where do you want to be, huh?
Yeah, I guess I'd be closer up to them.
Sorry, I'm just. trying to get on here.
Right, I can choose my screen.
No,
Where do you want to be?
I want to move myself.
Okay.
I'm so close. It's taking a real time to load. Okay, we may have to.
Where do you want to be?
I anticipate that I would be close to Apoc. That's kind of how in my head I was.
Kind of like at the table kind of thing?
Because I had
Right. And since the critters had started skittering over to Apoc, they are kind of, one after another, still all within close enough range to everybody in this very small hut. But as soon as they started skittering, Mrs. Q, whether it's because you were prepared after the squishing of your cookies or not, you are up first.
I cast command. Second level, which means I can affect both of them.
Cool.
Nice.
Tell them, huh?
That's awesome.
But we'll see if it works. And I tell them to, well, I would essentially be saying the option of halt, but in reality, I would say freeze.
Okay.
I would not use the word halt.
And what is the save on that?
Wisdom save of 12.
Oh boy, they both fail.
Yeah!
Man, I should break your dice gel more often.
I know. That was 2 natural ones.
What?
Wow.
The target doesn't move and takes no actions.
Right. It takes up their next turn, right? Like it happens on their next turn.
Yes, it does.
It's only for one round.
Yeah.
It's a single round, but it happens on their next turn.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a pretty killer opening there. Wild. All right, so on their next round, they spend their turn freezing. Anything else, Mrs. Q? Move or bonus action?
What was it I was gonna do? I had such a good idea. No, what was the one with the bonus action? How do I know?
You can.
Can I sort by bonus action?
Yeah, technically. So we go
Yes.
actions.
Oh, okay. These are.
That's all you have for bonus action.
Okay, then what I want to do. Sorry.
That's okay.
Do you want to do that?
Google something anyways.
They're pretty small, right?
They are small.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hang on. Would this be worthwhile yet? Maybe not. No, I'm gonna wait.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, that's a pretty good opener. All right, so Mrs. Q shouts the command freeze. Cam, I think you had your hand on your dagger. What are you gonna do?
As she shouts freeze, is that number like the first one like engaged with my buddy Apoc there?
Hasn't attacked yet, but yes, they are within 5 feet of each other.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely just try and swing around.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try and make a little stabby stab, a little pokey poke at her little pink friend.
Sounds good.
So that will be with my dagger. Oh. I completely missed my dice tray, and that would be a 11.
You swing with your dagger and you just miss as you go to try and help Apoc and stabby stab pokey poke at this thing. You kind of just give it a little haircut.
And then I'm like, and I tuck in behind Apoc and I try to hide.
Try to hide behind Apoc?
Yes, please.
All right, go for it. Make a stealth check.
15.
All right, to the best of your knowledge, you are hiding behind your friend.
Cool,
Right.
that's it for me.
Basil, Apoc, you're next. You're currently being used as... What you got, Basil?
Let me think. Okay. I am going to, from where I'm, I guess I place myself so I'm like sitting down with my sword. So what I'll do is I'll jump up on the table.
It's hot. It's so hot. It is hot.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
She got this new thermos that keeps things hot for hours.
It burned going down my throat.
Okay, let us off.
Continue. I'm good.
Oof.
So Basil's going to jump up on the table so he has the higher ground, whipping his sword backwards and just kind of like trying to get a swing to cleave at monster thing two.
Thing two. Go for it.
Right.
They look so cute.
So that's a 11.
So kind of just like Cam, even though you had yourselves ready, the sight of the cookie being crushed was just too, it shook you too much. You unfortunately missed as you go to swing.
Okay, I'm gonna use my action surge to try and attack again.
All right, go for it.
I think this dice is a no-go. Use the other.
He's having troubles tonight.
Let's just curse the whole group breaking
Yeah,
that
no
thing.
kidding.
Oh.
So that's a critical fail.
Oh no.
Jeez.
All right, first critical fail of the new year. What are we gonna do? As you go to swing at this guy, knowing that you missed the first time, this critter's kind of ready and is able to catch your sword in midair and pull you off of the table so that you are forced to move kind of right next to him, eye to eye, and just sort of screams in your face. Anything else on your turn, Basil?
What can I do?
I believe you can only move.
I can use my help action, but how to give it some flavor? What would I do? So like it pulls me down. It's like in my face, and let's say Sir Basil, to kind of try and distract it, goes back at it. So it's having like these two little guys are having a screaming fit. And the goal is to try and distract it so that whoever's next can like have advantage on it.
Yeah, that's perfect. All right, so whoever is attacking thing 2 next will have advantage, the next attack.
Yeah.
Love it. Apoc.
Okay. I guess I have a question for you.
Yes.
These things, they're like what? Cat-sized, small dog-sized, big dog-sized?
They're small. Their build is small.
Okay.
I would assume that they are, I don't know, a small creature. Maeve was tiny.
Yeah.
They're link-sized.
They're link-sized? Okay. Okay, so probably wouldn't fit into a basket. Well, I'm sure, like, okay, if it was a cat, you could just put a basket over it and, like, hold it down.
Oh,
Okay.
But, like, if it's a big dog, then it's probably not going to work. And they have hands and feet?
yes.
Okay.
They're currently, like, spider crawling towards you.
Yeah, but I just heard Miss Q yell freeze, so I'm anticipating them maybe to stop, and I'm just going to reach into my pouch and pull out a set of manacles. And as I see them stop, I want to try and grab the claws of the one in front of me
Okay.
and just like manacle them behind their back.
Okay.
That's what I would like to do.
Okay, super cool. Love it. So
Why do you have
held
medical?
action.
What's that?
Held action?
Well, it's, I mean, yeah, I guess waiting for them to freeze, but yeah.
Okay.
And then just, yeah, take these manacles out of my bag and just slap it on her wrist and slap it on the other wrist if I can.
Together, you're trying to do
No,
okay, just one.
One of them, both their arms.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me double check something.
Did you steal these from the jail?
Nope.
You just have them?
I'm an adventurer. They came in the, what is it? What kit did I start with? Oh, it's adventurer's kit. Yeah, adventuring gear. I forget what kit they're in.
We all have them if we have adventuring gear?
It depends on what kit you chose at the start of the adventure.
Oh. I did not pick yours.
All right, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right, so you're waiting for that.
Yeah. Because I don't want to, like, my
That's cool.
understanding is I don't want to kill them because we have questions to ask, but
Everyone else is
That's fair.
kind of stabby stab. So.
Yeah. I tried to swing this guy's head off.
I'm on tilt because they crushed the cookies.
yeah.
Rage. Oh, your barbarian is here.
Yeah.
Rage anyways.
Yeah.
All right, so you're holding that. And as you're preparing for this, you see kind of a film go over the eyes of the one right in front of you, and it just sort of freezes mid-step because of Mrs. Hughes' command spell. Both of them just freeze. Basil, the one in front of you, is kind of in a deadlock onto your sword, and you see that similar film. Because they are frozen, I think they would automatically fail any kind of strength check required to grapple. So the one in front of you could be manacled.
All right.
I don't see them
Yeah.
being able to fight it if they're frozen.
Okay.
So you could essentially manacle the one in front of you, but they do have 4 limbs.
Mhm.
If you do 2 limbs, they're still going to be able to kind of
Yeah.
move as a heads up.
Yeah.
But for right now, they spend their turn frozen in place, mid spider crawl towards Apoc and mid holding the sword in front of Basil.
Yeah.
That was a good use of command.
So yeah, I'll manacle the 2 arms of the one in front of me.
All right. So right now, he would be grappled. Okay. Next, it is going to be Susan's turn, and kind of taken off guard by what just happened and them not being as receptive. She's going to kind of turn around, put both hands on her hips, and almost. The last time I summoned one of you, the other one talked. He was much nicer. And she is going to kind of swing her arm around and is going to Eldritch Blast
Ooh.
the one that is thing 2, the one that's right in front of Basil.
And so she technically has the advantage of help with that.
She does have the advantage of help. That was a good roll though.
Eric's getting Steam messages.
So she is going to hit as this like blast of yellow energy kind of shoots out of her hand and smacks in front of him. Or it smacks the thing 2. I have no idea what it is. As I figure out what it, oh, it's 1d10. That's fine. And you see thing 2 in front of you, frozen with your sword in your hand, Basil, take this brunt and sees that the fur on it is now singed a little bit and crackling with this this yellow magical energy in front of you. But Mrs. Q, we are back up to the top of the order. Cam, you're on deck. What would you like to do, Mrs. Q?
If they are stopped, can they still speak? If I spoke to them, would they be able to speak under the spell?
Yeah, how I'm interpreting freeze is like freeze in place, like a freeze tag situation. So you can still speak,
Yeah.
but they cannot move.
I mean, they just complete the action on their turn, and it's typically over, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Next time you should yell out, mine.
be hilarious.
So I guess at the one that is closest to me, but I suppose the other one would hear it too, so right there. I say we have no intention to harm you, despite what my friends may make it seem. They have a proclivity for attacking those who attack their baked goods. So we just have some questions about some odd things that have been happening in our area that are of great concern to us. Can you answer our questions? Can we have a civilized conversation?
The one you're addressing, well, I guess both of them, yeah, because you are right there. They're both going to kind of turn all of their eyes looking at you, all of their eyes. There's 4 eyes total. They all look at you with these like yellow pupils and these pointed glaring teeth. And thing one, the one closest to you, just starts speaking in the same language you heard Susan speak in before, and just kind of prattles off in this syllable, these words that you just don't understand.
What does it sound like?
I don't want to do it. You get the sense that even if you could understand them, it still might not make a lot of sense. But their body language does not change with your words.
Okay. I look at Susan and I'm looking for a nod, we should keep talking, or a no, this is pointless.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. As this creature is talking, you kind of see Susan's face just get like more and more like shocked. And she'll just kind of meet your eyes and be like, they're worse than the last ones. They're worse than the last ones.
All right. Can we send them back?
I don't know.
Only one way.
Only one way to find out.
So we need to get them into the cauldron?
I'm gonna say that's probably it for your turn,
Yeah,
unless you wanted to do anything else, but in 6 seconds. I'm back in.
I feel like as Mrs. Q is trying to like calm them down, almost like same time, you just see Cam, I'm gonna mess you up, and I just dive onto him with a dagger and like try and completely ignoring what Mrs. Q is trying to do and just drop in on the one that's not manacled. And yeah, I'm gonna just try and stabby stab.
All right, go ahead and roll, Mrs. Q. Did you want to move or anything?
Oh no, this is great.
All right.
So it'd be the one that's next to. So I'll run over and then dive on the one, almost like trying to ride the horns, and then just stab it in the face.
God.
Jump onto it.
Right.
That's a. We're gonna do the math because I'm negatives in this too. That's a 19 to hit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so that will be a sneak attack as well.
Yes, it will be.
And I need to. So it's that for the dagger. 7 for the dagger. Another 4 for the sneak attack. So 11 points of damage.
Yeah. Holy smokes. As you go.
Oh, sorry, it's 2d6. I'm at 2d6.
Buck wild.
Another 4. So whatever I said plus 4.
Yeah. As you go absolutely buck wild and stab into this thing over this baked good. Yeah, over and over and over again, it slowly starts to just like and try and get you to let go of its horns before it just turns into a puddle of mush as thing 2 is no more.
Got that one.
I forget how to delete from here. Can I delete? We're just gonna move them.
I don't know. Dennis knows how to delete.
Dennis does know how to delete. Oh, that's how you delete. Look at that. Okay.
You just hit delete.
Oh, it didn't work for me. Anyways,
Oh, really?
thing 2 is now this sludge on the floor and is no more. You're standing in sludge, Camera Bear.
All right. As I'm like, I almost feel like I was like on top of it, so like I fall to the floor
Yep.
in a seated position. I'll pick myself up, and if you'll let me, I'll try and hide behind Basil.
Basil?
No.
Yeah, you have enough movement to make it there, and yeah, make a stealth roll.
That's a 6 to stealth.
You think you're hidden, but you also did just kill this guy right in front of the other guy who may have seen you do it. So we'll see.
Cool.
All right, Basil, you're up. Apoc on deck.
Okay. So I assume Sir Basil just kind of like witnessed Cam just go in on this dude and just kind of like walk around him, and it's just hiding like. What I wanted to do, but now Cam's sort of in the way, so I'll see if I can play with it. Okay, because Cam is taller than me.
Yes, he is.
Okay, what I want to do was what I was originally going to do is I was going to flip from where I'm standing on the floor to like the shelf table thing where Cam is, and then like almost like a dart, just like springboard myself forward like a spear into the monster dude. So instead of now springboarding off of the shelf or table, whatever it was, can I like backflip onto Cam's shoulders and springboard off of his shoulders?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh my
yes,
God.
you can.
Because this guy is frozen, do I have advantage?
Okay. I'm gonna say give me an acrobatics check just to make sure that you can springboard. It's a super low DC.
Standing backflip onto a friend. Low DC.
I'm assuming that the friend may help if he sees what you're trying.
That's the unnatural 20.
Okay, yeah,
Ooh.
you're good. And what was your question? If you're
Since the thing one is frozen in place, do I have advantage on my attack?
Give me 1 second here.
You're looking at grappled.
Looking up grappled, but grappled is just no movement.
Exactly.
Mhm. And yeah, the freeze condition is kind of over.
Oh, because
Yeah, I would say because it took up their turn to do it, right? They were frozen for their turn.
no problem. So just a normal.
So I think it's just a straight roll because the grapple also doesn't do anything.
Okay. Please roll.
You got this.
That's a 19.
Absolutely hits.
And it's gonna be. Oh, jeez. Only 6 damage.
You do skewer this thing, and with its hands grappled behind its back, it's defenseless to a point, but it kind of takes the hit, squeals a little bit, and just grimaces even more, a little bit of blood dripping from between the pointed teeth now. It did hurt, but it's still kicking.
Okay, what do you think about this? Just for some flavor. Should I try it?
Sure.
We're gonna try a new ability, guys.
Okay.
So as Sir Basil is speared into this dude on contact, you see kind of like a sort of like as far as you can tell, like a bright light kind of emit from this monster as contact hits. And I'm gonna need this guy to do a strength saving throw.
While manacled? Ooh.
Yeah, does grapple do, it doesn't do anything for still throws, does it? No, it's literally just speed. Okay. Ooh, it's a 6.
Okay, so on contact, this bright light, boom, kind of sparks open, and next thing you know, like fiery shackles just shoot out of the ground and just like grapple this guy even more. And he's going to take an additional
Ah.
3 damage. Oh my gosh, these dice.
Is it fire damage?
Yes, fire damage.
All right. You see this creature kind of take the fire damage, but shake it off a little bit, as it doesn't seem to do as much as you thought it would.
But it's restrained by these fiery shackles.
It's restrained?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, poor guy.
Yeah.
He didn't even
Well, he's now tied with tentacles and fiery shackles, which will remain for
1 minute.
1 minute.
That's wild.
Yeah. And you were worried about 1 versus 2.
I know. There should have been 3 here.
So at his next turn, if he's still alive, he can roll another strength save to try and break out. If he doesn't, then he gets more damage.
All right. Cool. Good. Nice. Apoc,
Yeah,
you are up.
I'm just gonna take my spear and finish this motherfucker off.
Yeah. Advantage.
This is the ground.
At advantage.
Sweet. Try it again. Well, that's a critical fail on the first one. And a 15 on the second one.
Yeah, that is.
And it's going to hit for 11 points of damage. 8 of it being piercing, and the other 3. So what you see is Apoc pull out a spear, and he jabs it straight into the beast's chest where the chain's pulled up. And then right after he finishes that and pulls his hand off, you then see the swarm of fleas grab onto the hilt of the spear and thrust it in just a little bit further.
No way. I love that.
That's pretty cool. That was 8 damage, right?
11 total.
Right.
8 plus 3, yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
A little revenge for trying to eat them.
Apoc, you're so badass.
And then he just grabs back onto the spear. If this thing isn't dead.
It's not dead
Not
yet,
dead
but
yet.
that was a huge. You pull up the spear, and there's
Yeah.
this like, instead of blood, you see this black ooze start dripping out of this creature from the hole where the spear was in its chest. And it just kind of like looks around and just starts to try and break itself out of these chains. What does it have to do? Another strength save?
Yeah, it has to beat a 12.
Okay. Oh, it is 1 lower as it tries to move itself out of here and break itself out.
It takes an additional 8 damage.
Okay.
Damn.
That
Fire
is
damage?
a wild thing.
Oh,
Whatever that is. That's insane.
oh, I love this already.
I know. As it tries to like break itself out, you see the chains start to restrict more and more and more, and you see more of this black ooze just start to pour from it. And you see Susan just run forward and just start screaming at it in this language that you don't understand, almost desperately from her perspective. But Sir Basil, as the chains tighten around this thing, how do you want to do this? They didn't even get to attack.
Oh.
I assume that like as it's like trying to wiggle, it just gets tighter and tighter, and it just like chokes itself out and just like bursts into flames.
Yeah. As it bursts into flames and turns into the same kind of tar, oozy puddle, just like its buddy. Susan kind of takes a breath as you all sort of catch your breath from what just happened. And she looks to all of you. It said the fire wasn't going to stop.
No.
Maybe it wasn't telling the truth. Maybe it was lying.
Did you roll an insight check?
What?
It's okay, it's in his boar logs.
Yeah.
You're very odd sometimes. But you're friendly, so that's all that matters. I'm sorry about that. The last one that I summoned, at least it talked to me. This one just seemed mean. Maybe it's more important than ever that you get yourselves to Heart. I had a friend in Ashboro.
Was their name?
Oh, this was many years ago. They would have been quite old.
Okay, their name wasn't Kara.
No.
Okay.
We'll all lose a lot more friends if we don't deal with this soon.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps it's
Yeah.
time for us to continue.
Yeah, like we even lost a friend. Like I don't know where Dace went. He's completely gone. So
You just hear thunk, thunk as he's fires outside.
Like he's lifting the side of the hut.
oh, sorry, he's hit there. Yeah, I guess we should probably get going to Heart.
Are we gonna go back and drop off Kina and, pick up the horses and?
Yes. From where these two, like thing 1 and thing 2, when they like kind of burned to the ground, is there like weird residue or anything like that on the ground, or is it just char?
Yeah, there's like puddles of black. Like ooze.
Okay. Would anyone on the team have a sense of like the significance of the black ooze, or is it just ooze?
Susan would kind of like see you looking at it, and being the person who had summoned one of these creature types before, and a little more learned in this area, she would. Don't worry, it goes away after a little bit. The creatures aren't dead necessarily, they're just sent back to their plane. That's why they're supposed to be these beings that know, but it's kind of unpredictable what beings you'll get. But it'll go away. Don't worry about it. That's what I mean, the last one was more helpful than these two.
So Basil kind of tucks away his sword and says, "It's unfortunate that we weren't able to get more out of these creatures, but it's probably best for us to be on our way."
If only we flipped a coin before we summoned them.
Probably should have. We thank you for your help, Susan. We're deeply in your debt. And then Sir Basil kind of bows and then like turns to collect his things.
Of course. It was lovely to meet you all, and thank you for bringing Cyrus back to me. Maybe we'll, if we can get a message to you when we hear anything else. But don't be a stranger.
I'm gonna bend down, scoop up some of the crumbs of that macadamia nut cookie, just kind of hold it, turn to the camera, look dramatically as I say, "Hey you," to my little paint bat. It's time to go. And he flitters over and I give him the crumbs to eat.
What camera did you turn to?
Arbitrary camera. The camera that exists.
That whole like dramatic.
Yeah.
As he looks up. "Hey Hugh, I think that's what I'm gonna call you, Hugh."
Oh, that's such a nice name.
And then I walk out. I walk out the door and go collect Dace.
Nice.
I'll go wake up Kina.
Yeah, that would be great.
And as you collect your friends, and Kina kind of shoulders her pack and just sort of almost looks up at all of you. She hasn't really had some great experiences with you guys, but we're going back home to the Reach. Great. Kind of gets ready to go. Susan and Cyrus will make sure that your packs are all full and wave you off as you head out in the very early morning, considering that the fight only took 12 seconds to get through.
That freeze came in clutch.
Yeah.
That was insane. They can do some pretty cool things for being little critters, but you know, whatever works.
Yeah.
All right.
As we're walking away, Mrs. Quillam turns around and waves to Susan again. She never had a chance to really chat with Susan, but appreciated being in the home of another hedge. And so as she left, she, all of the flowers in the window box that they were waving out of, bloomed and turned towards the rising sun as we walked away.
Oh,
I
adorable.
want to say goodbye to Normal too. While this is all happening, Apoc's just down there giving them belly scratches.
No. Yeah, normal loves scritches. He's super cute. He'll take them gladly. All right, as you all make your way north from Susan's hut back towards Winnowing Reach. Is everyone okay to go a little bit longer, or did you want to stop there for the night? I'll leave it up to you. It is 9:30, so it's a little still early.
I'm okay to go a little bit longer.
Yeah. All right, for sure. So as you all start heading north, out of Susan's hut, away from the Talon Grip coast and the swamp, back towards the Mockden Caverns itself, where this whole kind of side quest began. It does take, about a half day of trekking through the swamps. Even though you trekked this way before, the territory is not as familiar as you would have hoped, since the first time you came through it, it was at night. So I am actually going to need somebody to roll a d20 for the day as you trek.
I'm going to do it with my nice new die.
Yeah. Go for it.
6.
Is that a 6
Is
or
that a
a
6 or a 9? I think it's a 9. Yeah.
It's a 9, yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's a 9.
It's a 9?
Should have a little dot.
Yep. There's
Oh,
a
yeah, there's a tiny dot.
All right. So a 9. As you're walking, even though this land is unfamiliar to you, not being able to see it during the day, as the sun does start to come up, it is a lovely day. It's sunny. The air is crisp and clear. The path that you are trekking on is dry, which is definitely a good thing trekking through the swamp. And you are unimpeded as you make your way to the caverns. It does take about the better half of this day to actually get to the mounds of rocks that you remember on your initial approach to the caverns from the north side. But you do see it coming up as the trees begin to thin in the swamp. And you start to recognize the structure of it the closer and closer you get to your approach. Now you are on the south side of the caverns, where your initial approach was on the northeastern side. So as you kind of walk towards it, as the trees start to thin and the land starts to kind of slope upwards just a little bit and turn from swampy land into rock, you do start to see caverns going into this mound of rock, kind of like the entrance that you initially went into and came out of. Is there anything you wanted to do at this point? I know you mentioned attempting to look for the horses that you left here 6 days ago.
Yes. Can we do that?
Yeah.
So whistles out, try to call the horses over, and he's just listening, and we can hear them.
All right. Unless anyone wants to help you, Basil, you are going to need to just make one roll for me. And I would say...
Use the coin.
I would say it's either going to be perception or investigation if you're trying to find any track of these horses.
As Miss Quillam sort of standing by Sir Basil, she like puts a hand on his shoulder and casts guidance to give him an additional 1d4.
On my roll.
To your
we,
ability roll.
we don't want to flip for this.
Oh, you can if you want to, I guess.
But that means
But
like
if
we
you
could
don't
either
want
like
to.
find the horses or the horses are lost forever.
I don't want them to pass forever.
So sorry, what roll was it?
I'm gonna say it'll either be, you're trying to find a track of the horses, right? Okay, wait, actually, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to find a trace of them or are you trying to call them to you?
I'm trying to call them to me.
You're trying to call them to you. Okay, I'm gonna say it's going to be an animal handling roll in that case.
Okay, sure.
Plus a d4. Nice.
So that's a 16.
You whistle out, especially as you continue walking and to the north side where you know you last saw your horses. It's been 6 days.
Whoa!
You kind of look and you find, you know, your camp where you camped right outside the caverns that night that the fog had rolled in. You do kind of see the remnants of a campfire, you know, the remnants of the meal that you had and the logs that you used and stuff like that. But it has been 6 days.
Well,
This is all rock.
bunch
You
of
didn't
dead
really leave any
horses.
food for the horses. They are nowhere to be seen.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say like he turns the corner and he just finds dead horses.
No.
Okay.
They're just gone.
We
They
just
were
need,
not
we
going
need
to
to
wait.
find a couple 100 pounds of salt, and we can
Yeah.
cure these horses right back up.
Yeah.
Do we see any
Trailed or
like I was thinking, yeah, either that or like manure pile or anything, like something that would signify that they were here.
I mean, you do see whatever was there from that night, but as for it has been 6 days. There has been weather that has been rolling through the area. It hasn't always been super sunny, at least in this general area. It's also rock, not so much dirt around here. If you want, you can make a survival check to look for any hoof prints and possible directions in manure piles.
I pick up Basil and like lift him up to like help him see better.
As I don't think they're here. I think they're all gone.
do I get advantage? This is he's holding me up.
Sure.
I want to find our ponies.
Nice.
So that's a 21.
It's been 6 days.
I gotta just leave this one.
You do see, like, you know, if you go north, if you keep heading north, you see more grass. I mean, there does seem to be wildlife flitting around when it gets closer into the trees.
Like a pack of wolves.
Wolves. I mean, you do see other forms of life as opposed to nothing in this rocky expanse around the caverns itself. I mean, the likelihood of them going there for maybe something to eat is high, but they've been alone for almost a week in an area where, you know, it's big. There isn't exactly a paddock or a fence around here.
Thunder and lightning. Well, what's the rest of the group doing?
I mean, I would probably Mrs. Quillam would probably let me see, how does this feature work? She really likes the horses, so she's kind of sad about this. She, like, upon spotting like some level of like the direction that they probably headed, she goes to the nearest like little bit of brush or whatever and looks to see if she can find any bugs. And
Oh, yeah, tons.
then she speaks to the bugs and she asks if they've seen any horses, because speaking with bugs is something I can do.
I don't have a voice for a bug.
It's more like squeaks and gestures. I can communicate simple ideas.
That's absolutely adorable, and I love it so much. Yeah, you see this like pretty little spider. He's got like a little bit of green on his back. He's pretty cute as far as spiders go. And with your weird clicks and him clicking back at you, and like spiders do like the mating dance, maybe he's doing something like that. You get this simple idea that there were horses here and that one day they walked into these woods. But the spider himself does not seem to know much more than that.
Okay, worth a try.
It was worth a try.
I think we're beating a dead horse.
Oh, don't say that. Okay.
I don't know what to do.
We have-
Getting horses.
I mean, for all we know, they may have headed back towards town and other horses. We can see if they turned up when we get to the reach.
Maybe there's a Disney movie made about them. Thunder and lightning, homeward bound.
That would be so cute.
Own it now on DVD.
They're just trying to look for us, guys. Yeah, whatever the group wants to do.
Hey, you can talk to my fleas.
Yeah, I can.
Damn.
So you better wash.
Voice.
Yeah, I guess realizing that the horses are nowhere to be seen, Sir Basil kind of just like disappointingly just kind of goes back to the group and says, "We should keep going back to the town."
All right.
Yeah.
So heads hung low with sadness for the mounts that you only knew for 3 days, I think. You continue on your way back to Winnowing Reach. And as you're traveling through the swamp, back through more familiar terrain that you actually passed through in the daytime this time, it's a little bit easier to just continue heading north back to the road. And as you're walking out of the like giant mangroves that form this swamp and back into and onto the road itself, you start to see the lights from Winnowing Reach twinkle in the twilight. And as you go to approach the town, the first kind of zone of civilization that you've seen after trekking through a swamp for almost a week, which is crazy, you start to notice something different about the town itself. The skyline of it looks just a little bit odd from the first time you approached. You do start to notice lights, and you do see, that there's still some moving, like lantern lights moving back and forth. And the closer you get to the town, the first building you remember seeing upon entering the town was the granary, the storage facility where they would store food, specimens for shipping, trading goods, all of this stuff that the town basically used for its survival. And you notice that a chunk of it has been burned to ash and caved in on itself.
Dang.
With
Okay.
some fire damage kind of licking the other half of it. As you kind of work your way up the main road and back into the main center of the square, you do still see Eliza's cart, although it has been kind of shuttered and closed and locked with a padlock that you don't recognize, not one that she had before. And there aren't really people on the streets so much as there are guards that you've noticed posted at every entrance to every one of the buildings and the perches in this area. And as they see you start to approach, the first ones that you would pass, pull up the map of the village.
Dang.
The first ones that you would pass are actually the ones that are kind of posted right around the granary itself. And they do notice you come in and snap to attention and eye you as you approach. State your business. Who are you?
Good evening. We are here to happily tell the mayor of the town that we have found your missing scientist, slime researcher person.
Kind of like
Ina,
point to Kina.
We thought you were dead.
Well, one of us was. But that's a long story.
I'm also here to see the scribe.
Yeah, sure. Just go straight there, okay? We've had enough to deal with here.
What's happened?
Bandits happened.
bandit.
A couple days ago, they set the granary on fire and stole everything inside.
How many? Like, you guys have guards posted all the time.
We do. With some brigade of them, they made their way back north. We tried to follow and we couldn't. The magistrate's waiting for you. Just go. We've got enough to deal with here.
We, I assume, just kind of like stay there for a while and then head towards the magistrate's office, I assume.
All right, you see Kina almost like wide-eyed. She's from this town. You see her kind of just take in the damage. Looking around, the apothecary is still intact. The Wrangler's Rest that you stayed in seems to be still intact as far as you can tell. But now that twilight has hit, the streets are empty. The main square is empty. The only cart there where you know you saw a bunch of merchants there before, the only cart now is Eliza's, and she is nowhere to be seen as you make your way to the north end of town where the magistrate's office is. There are more guards around here, but kind of upon seeing you and hearing your story, unless you wanted to say anything else to them, they'll just escort you right inside and back up to the magistrate, paying close attention to the fact that you have Kina with you.
Mm-hmm.
And upon getting into the magistrate's office, hearing that from his guards that you have returned, he'll kind of throw the door open. And you see what once was a very pristine, like pristinely dressed official is now this ragged looking, very pale, bags under your eyes, like this person, Walden Crane, has not gotten enough sleep in a couple days. We thought you were all dead. I didn't think you were going to return. Kina, you're alive. Thank you. I'm sorry it's not under better circumstances.
Well, first things first, and I pull out a hand, and you see an image conjure on my hand of two horses. You wouldn't have happened to see these, have you? As I conjure an illusion of our missing horses.
The magistrate is going to kind of like take a beat to kind of shake himself out of a daze almost. Honestly, all of our animals fled as soon as that fire started. If they were here, they are long gone by now, along with everything else. Kina, are you hurt? And he'll just gesture and kind of make sure that Kina is all right. Thank you for bringing her back. As promised, you're free to go. Not like we really have anywhere to hold you even if we wanted to. But that was the deal, and I stick to my deals. You have no crimes against you in winnowing reach.
If it's bandits doing this, we can help where we can. If we see any, we can certainly put a stop to it. Don't like what's going on here. You don't deserve what you got.
Mhm.
I don't know if I speak for everybody here, but I might not be sticking around town, but my daggers can surely fit underneath some of these bandits' armor. I'll make use of it where I can.
So Basil just gives a strong nod of like, yes, I agree.
Did you get any names? You know who did this?
So I guess the guards kept you up to speed then. Good. Honestly, they hit us 2 nights ago in the dead of night. We didn't hear anything. Not exactly like they tried to bypass our locks, but whatever they used, it just started burning a hole through the wood itself. They didn't need a door for any reason. And then the straw on top of the granary, the roof, it just caught fire. And the whole structure came down. Only thing left is the stone foundation we built it on.
I got a question.
Yes.
Are you sure it's bandits? There's another town that burnt down that we're kind of not investigating, but spreading the word. Ashborough burnt down not eight or 9 days ago.
Was it bandits?
No, I think it was more from the Scorched Grove, but
From the Grove?
yeah. But
We're far enough away from the Grove.
yeah,
It
but
hasn't bothered us before.
did you see the bandits?
Well, we saw them. I mean, we didn't get names, but they were making off with all of our goods. They've done it before. It's
Okay.
just this time, they took everything. Samples, they took supplies, they took gold, and then they made their way north.
Any ideas where north they would go?
Honestly, the last I heard, they had some sort of hideout in the mountains. We're pretty far from the mountains, but I'm assuming they just went as close to the grove as they dared, so we didn't follow. Not like we have the manpower here either. We clearly can't even keep our citizens safe.
Speaking of your citizens, is the scribe okay? I wanted to chat with him.
Thankfully, he was here at the time. He's fine. If you want, I can have him summoned. And the magistrate will kind of look at a guard just on the inside of the door and send him out.
Do your people have enough food?
We've already messaged to Alderheart for help. I'm hoping they can send something our way. We're only about a day away. We'll manage with whatever we had at the Wrangler's Rest, the apothecary. But a lot of our livelihood was in the selling of those samples to the avium.
Hmm.
And now they're gone.
Apoc just pulls out whatever's left of his vial that he gathered from the caves. I think
Sir Basil has a vial as well.
I've got a flask full of the sticky slime, minus the little bit that I took out to put on the shoes, and just hands it over. He's like, I mean, it's not much, but there's some sticky slime in here. I mean, maybe you can use it.
That's very rare stuff. Thank you.
It's better in your hands than in mine.
Well, if anything, it might buy us a little bit more, at least until we can rebuild the granary. And the magistrate will kind of take it and put it in a little, there's almost like a test tube holder on his desk where he's able to put it.
Also got some bioluminescent moss. I don't know, I might have used most of it building the glow in the dark death, but like, yeah, it might help. I'll go with that too. whatever's left of it.
It's all right. You can.
Just cleaning out my inventory at this point.
I think that Apoc gave away his vial. Sir Basil reaches into his pack as well and pulls out a potion bottle that he had filled with any remains he could gather of the shifting slime.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So we're able to get some.
Mm-hmm.
As you pull it out, you kind of see Kina's eyes go wide, and she just automatically reaches for it. You got this? This is incredible. Thank you. And she'll kind of like hold on to it, almost not believing that she actually has a sample.
Okay.
Is anybody
Sorry.
severely hurt? Like, I haven't seen everybody in town, but did everybody survive?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of bad burns here and there. We're fine.
Okay, that's good.
As you see the magistrate kind of take the vial from Kina and put it next to the other vial. And at this point, the guard returns with the scribe looking a little bleary-eyed.
Well. Look who's back. I'm pretty sure we made a deal. And I'm looking for you to pay up, buddy.
Does he understand what happened here? Has he been caught up?
Oh, I'm fully aware, but at least you guys are alive.
Well, so are you.
Yeah, that wasn't the case a couple days ago. So
That's
forgive me if I'm a little impatient.
I don't remember what this deal was.
No, I don't either.
I do. A kind of grumbling to himself. Just wait here. You're lucky we retrieved it from the granary before it burned to the ground.
Yeah, you can always rebuild. You have your people.
And he'll kind of walk back off the way he came, leaving the door open. And as he comes back, he'll angrily walk up to you, Camembert, and deposit a little envelope into your hand.
I immediately pop it open, take a look inside.
Yeah, that's what you're expecting it to be.
All right, as I pull it out, or with my hand in there, I'm going to cast a spell.
Okay.
I'm going to cast Distort Value. And
Wait a second. Hold on. This is what it is supposed. It's a pearl, right?
correct.
Okay.
I don't need the pearl for Distort Value.
Got it.
I said 100 gold piece pearl. This is only 50 gold pieces. As I show them with the distorted value.
What does distort value?
Oh man.
Give me a second.
It's an intelligence check to see if he can believe that that it's worth half of what it usually is.
Okay. Intelligence?
Yeah.
Hope you gave this
Eric?
guard a stat block.
Eric? I don't. Hold on a second.
Oh, don't worry, he'll fail.
Okay, let's just roll and then I'll figure it out.
Save DC 12.
I don't know if this is cocked or not.
What? This one?
I don't think it is.
Hey, you're the GM. That doesn't look that cocked.
Oh, well.
I don't know.
It's a natural 15.
I think you should look closer, and I cast Silvery Barbs. Disadvantage.
Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
That's a natural one.
I believe the deal was 100 gold pieces worth of pearl.
Okay, store value. Oh my god. Okay. You see this scribe just look like super confused as he like reaches out It was. What did you do to it?
Nothing.
And like checks it over. This was all we had left. All of our other valuables were in the granary.
What
The
other
best I can do is ask someone in Alderheart to make up the difference, and then we'll pay them when we can.
works
Would
for
that
me?
satisfy you?
That does. Thank you.
He'll grumble again and just take out a piece of paper from the magistrate's desk and start scribbling away. And the magistrate during this whole time is just extremely confused. Well done.
What a jerk.
I loved
That was well played. my friend.
Camembert will rob you to your face.
which is wild. The magistrate, as this is going on with the scribe, and the scribe is just scribbling something down and stealing a letter closed. The magistrate is going to kind of look to all of you once more, sort of rub his eyes in his face. Again, thank you for your help with Kina. I apologize that we may not have space for you here. I think your other friend is still at the Reach, but can't really afford any other mouths to feed right now. So if you don't mind, I recommend continuing on your journey. We're stretched as thin as we can. But thank you again, and you're always welcome here in the future, I guess.
What time of day is it?
It's evening. It's just after twilight, so closer to 6:30-ish.
Okay. So because she's feeling a little bit bad about Cam's whole thing, like taking a precious thing when they just lost all of their stuff.
So I don't know if you guys know the specifics of it, just as a heads up, but you do know that exchange occurred.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I think I don't know if this is going to work, but because the mayor specifically said that they don't have enough food to feed any more mouths, Mrs. Q casts her magnificent feast.
Nice.
Wow.
Which it doesn't say, it doesn't have a limit on the number of people that I can feed with this feast.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna feed the town a meal.
Sure, why not? Yeah.
So it takes me 10 minutes, but I can prepare. What is my wisdom?
I wish I could
it's a
prepare food
channel
for
divinity?
like 310 minutes.
Yeah, it's a channel divinity. And so these food items will last up to 8 hours or until the end of a rest, and they will never spoil. And eating the food created in this way takes an action, providing whomever eats it with healing equal to 2d4 plus my cleric level, and can remove either frightened or poisoned conditions. So I cast that, and my 2 food items are sausages and mashed potatoes.
Sounds good.
Sounds
So
very hearty.
I like sit there, I don't know, 10 minutes, I guess. I tell the mayor, well, I'm sorry to hear that you don't have enough food for everyone, so dinner's on me.
You just reach
And then I
into your
just sit
apron,
there.
pull out some mashed potatoes.
No, it's like, we're talking like a barrel of mashed potatoes.
Okay.
So I prepare a barrel of mashed potatoes and a barrel of sausages.
Right there in his office.
Yep.
Sounds good.
And I say, why don't you distribute this to the good people of Winnowing Reach, and you can save tonight's food for tomorrow, and it'll buy you a little more time before help comes from Alderheart.
We may have to put some limitations on that in the future.
We all start singing.
But
For
for now, I will allow it because I love it. It's very sweet and very cute, and yeah, sure, why not?
Yay.
I'll go help distribute food.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's adorable. You can definitely create it for the purposes of now. And you just see the magistrate kind of look flabbergasted. And even the scribe Camembert, as he goes to hand you this very small, tightly wound scroll with a wax seal on it that you recognize as the seal of the magistrate of Alderheart. Pardon me, the magistrate of Winnowing Reach. You kind of see like his jaw drop open at the barrels, the 2 barrels of food that just showed up in the office. And it does take a couple guards to lift a barrel full of mashed potatoes.
And then Dace is lifting the other one.
Yeah, Dace is lifting just like one hand over the shoulder. But unless there's any other thing you wanted to do here with the magistrate or the scribe, you slowly see the guards start to kind of escort the villagers kind of one hut or one house at a time to the center of town to distribute this food. And you do recognize Helen from the Reach, as well as some of her patrons, the Wranglers that you saw before. Everyone looking a little bit disheartened, but Helen is very happy to see you. You do see Fran, the owner of the apothecary. And you do see Eliza, who, as soon as she sets eyes on you, just comes up and gives like all of you a big hug. Yeah. And then we'll kind of release you, and just, at least to you, Basil, since you kind of have a little bit of a relationship with her, she'll just sort of push you a little bit. I thought you were all dead, and that you left me here in this town when you were supposed to escort me to Alderheart.
It'll take a lot more than some pesky slime for you to get rid of us. I kind of like give her a little nudge back.
You didn't even tell me you were going anywhere.
Do we know? I thought we did.
We thought we'd be back a lot sooner.
Well, I'm happy you're back. You were missed. And you missed a lot. And I still want to go to Alderheart.
Can you fill us in on what you saw? Maybe like on the journey, but you know, we got their opinions of what all went down, but maybe you saw something different.
Oh, with the
Yeah.
And she'll gesture over to the granary. Yeah, maybe that's for a talk out on the road. But it's good to see you all. I'm happy you're here.
How soon can you leave?
Whenever you're ready, I'm good to go.
We don't have
exactly feel super secure here anymore. Not after the bandit attack. Kind of reminded me of the road attack again. It wasn't a good feeling.
Were they the same people?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
The first time, in case you forgot, I was kind of run over by a cart. And then this time it was night, so it's a little hard.
Yeah.
But this looks delicious. I don't know if you want to eat first and leave, or if you want to wait for morning, but I don't know. Helen was saying we might not have a full breakfast ready tomorrow. It's been a little tight.
Well, that's okay. I can feed us on the road. So we can either stay here and then have breakfast after we leave tomorrow morning, or we can have some bangers and mash now and head out after dinner.
That's up to you guys. I'm ready to go whenever.
Maybe we leave first thing in the morning.
Yeah, it's a day's trip, right? So
More or less.
walking or riding?
We don't have ponies anymore.
No, I know, but if it's a day's trip riding, then it's more than a day's trip walking.
Honestly, couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Do we even have our cart anymore?
Well, Eliza has hers.
Oh, but you had yours as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say, because it was parked outside of the Reach, or
Yeah, we tied the carts.
the
together.
Wrangler's Rest,
Did we
yeah.
tie the carts, like trained them together?
Oh yes, that's right. So you would have seen it next to Eliza's cart then, in the middle of town.
Yeah.
You didn't really have anything on your cart, but it was there.
We had actually. I go over. Are the stuff on the cart still there? Because we had several things on it. Particularly my stuff was on the cart.
Oh, I don't remember.
As I look across the cart, I look for my short bow, my leather armor. The Vulpin captain's short sword was left on the cart.
Oh, was it actually? Okay.
The bandit sword.
That's right. Oh, that's episode 1. You don't see it outright on the cart.
We've been robbed.
Chill, man. It's in mine. I bought a lock for it. We're good. And you do notice that Eliza's cart is like locked and good to go. So
we've been robbed by Eliza.
And Peggy.
And Peggy. Tomorrow morning it is then.
Do we need more horses?
You're not gonna find any here.
All their horses were scattered from the fire because of the fire.
Okay.
Dace can pull a cart.
God.
I mean, that's what he did previously. He pulled one cart and then the ponies pulled the other.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Dace it is. He can't object.
Yeah.
All right. As you are all finishing up distributing the food and are escorted, I'm assuming with Eliza, to the Wrangler's Rest for a room for the night. Unless there is anything else that you would all like to do tonight. While you're safely behind a locked door for the first time in a week back in Knowing Reach. Is there any final things? All right. Hearing none, you are all able to cuddle up and get a long rest in preparation for a day's travel the next day. And that is where we will end for tonight.
Lovely. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Great session.